Hello and welcome back, and welcome to my Thunderdome. Today, I'm going to talk about things that I love about these systems, and do you know what? I'm going to tell you 5 things that me right off about them. This is the video I've wanted to make for about a month. I've already done the review and the software stuff, and that's all been lovely, and that one's coming up in about a week or so, and I know I've banged on about these UGREEN NAS a lot, because I think they're an important system. They are challenging the status quo of NAS, but I've got to say, this ain't perfect, and in the background of the last month or so, filming these reviews, talking to other YouTubers, and I'll refer to them later on. Again, do check out the videos coming out soon from Laurie over at Tech Notice and Frank over at Wonder Tech. Again, if they're already live, I'll link them in the description. But there's been a lot of discussion in the background from reviewers about these systems, about the way UGREEN have handled this, and the system itself that you guys today are going to be going on to the likes of crowdfunding on Kickstarter to potentially lay your money down on this. And I think it's really important that we boil it down onto the 5 things that are pretty good, and the 5 things that genuinely make me want to throw these things out the window at times. So let's start positive. That's what my therapist says. Well, these devices do have pretty good hardware. Whether it is, you're looking at this one, this is rocking out the gate with that Pentium processor. They've finally brought back SD friggin' cards onto NASes. Arriving, the majority of the systems have got 10 GBE on the back and 2.5 GBE to boot. The system's arriving with either that lovely little M100 processor, then you've got the Pentium 8505, and then you've got it rocked up all the way up to an i5 10 core 20 lane. Then you've got things like the Flash system, which has got Gen 4 NVMe SSD slots, as does this, and that's rocking out with Thunderbolt connectivity. You can't really fault the hardware on these systems, and for that, it's genuinely near enough unbeatable in terms of turnkey NAS. Next up, the design. The design of these systems, let's be realistic about this, they have gone their own way. It would have been really easy to just cookie cutter all of that stuff next to me and just make some Billy basic uniform box, but they didn't. They brought their own design, their own ideas, their own aesthetic, and a lot of the components inside are UGREEN branded. They are proprietary, they are their own. They've not just got some Topton CWWK Mobo off the internet and slum it inside. They've gone down the road and built their own shiz. And that's not even before we get onto the subject of the little Flash system. A 4-bay NVMe system like this, Gen 4 NVMe's on a couple of slots, Thunderbolt connectivity in 10 GBE, and it looks this good? Fair play. Design-wise, tick, tick, tick. And we'll dig into the software later on, don't you worry, but I'll tell you right now, the mobile application for this software is pretty bloody good. And I know I am someone that likes to use desktop browsers, and I like to use desktop client tools for Windows and Mac, but I know a lot of you out there that are looking at this system, you want simplicity. And their mobile application, fair play, is very smooth, very sleek, has all of the features of the desktop GUI, and very few are absent. I will say you can do pretty much anything on that, and it's a one portal Swiss Army knife app as well. It's not just a browser contained in an APK. It's not. It is a full spec'd out application, responsive, and I've got to say I love it. Also, let's be fair, UGREEN, they've been around a block. They're about 12, 14 years old, depending on where you find it online. And I'll say right now, of all of the brands that have come out of the woodwork to challenge the likes of Synology and QNAP, as well as bite on the toes of ASUS and TerraMaster, UGREEN is probably the most established contender in the market. I'm not going to say they're everyone's cup of tea, but I will say they're an established brand bringing out a network-attached storage solution when up till now, we've seen lots of pop-ups, shop-ups, and just no one's heard of them brands coming out there with a NAS solution in the turnkey market. Own OS, own hardware, own branding. The money. Let's be realistic about this. These systems are actually surprisingly affordable for the hardware and the design and the deployment of a turnkey solution we've seen in the market, challenging the prices right now from Synology, QNAP, ASUS, and TerraMaster. Of course, we're looking at crowdfunding prices there, more on that later on, but I will say that the pricing of these devices is surprisingly affordable. Not too cheap, but not too expensive either. But come on, you didn't come to this video to hear me say nice things. I've done an hour-long video on that. You came here for the bad stuff. So let's crack on with the 5 things that really yank my chain.
Reviewing the situation. Can a fella be a villain all his life?
Why is it only the US and Germany that are allowed to get hold of this product right now? I get it. You're trying to isolate certain marketplaces, establish it to a few different places before we expand out the range later on. But I got to tell you right now, if you read the comments of the other videos, there are a lot of people in different regions of the world that are absolutely livid. That not only can they not participate in any kind of crowdfunding for this product because they're not based in Germany or the US, but on top of that, the idea that they're missing out on some big 40% discount, they're absolutely livid.
Reviewing the situation. Can a fella be a villain all his life?
Third-party OSs. I have tried the lot on this system. I tried to install UnRAID, I tried to install TUENAS, I tried to install Proxmox, all on this system via USB bootloading, stuff that's always worked before, and I've gone ahead and installed it on their own SSDs. I removed your SSD from inside. Try as I might, I hit nothing but roadblocks. I went into the BIOS there, stopped the boot drive trigger there to stop it going into your own USB within the BIOS. I went in and changed the UEFI settings there. I went in and installed and got UnRAID working and got some elements of Proxmox working, but then the system would always boot me out or it would restart. Clearly, this is a system that they are either deciding are not going to support third-party OS, or because they're using their own custom kernel at the beginning, is being designed around their OS only, and that is definitely going to cheese off a lot of users. Now, in their defense, I have spoken about third-party OSs with them quite a lot in the last few weeks. Ever since that Q&A where we got a rather lukewarm answer to that question about third-party OSs, I've been pushing with them to say that people don't immediately want to stick a third-party OS on this. They might want to try out the operating system that it arrived with to see if it's any good. And a lot of users just want the option of a third-party OS. They just want to know that somewhere down the line, if they're not happy with the software, that they can go another way. They want to know they can use the hardware their way. And that's the big problem. Because if you say to people they can't use third-party OSs, but without it invalidating their hardware warranty, you've just closed the door down the line, or just completely flat out bolted that door for some other users who would have engaged with your product. And again, as mentioned, UGREEN are apparently negotiating this internally, that maybe this is something that's going to be reversed. Hence why I'm putting so much emphasis on this point, because I tell you right now, there's lack of support of third-party OSs on this, at least within the hardware warranty. No one expects UGREEN to support an UnRAID or TrueNAS user on this system. They just want to know that the hardware is going to support it for that 2-year warranty. If you guys do not turn around on this, you are definitely going to make some people pissed off, and not just me.
Reviewing the situation. Can a fella be a villain all his life?
The software is not finished, and I know there's going to be some of you out there, fairly so, they're going to go, well, of course it's not finished, it's in beta. Of course it's not finished, the product's not going to arrive for months. They've still got to do stuff on it. Do you want write once, read many? Do you want two-factor authentication? Do you want a container application? Do you want a virtual machine application? Do you want Plex? Do you want MB? Well, no! I get it. But I say right now, if you're going to send this unit to a bunch of reviewers, and a lot of them, again, I'm going to go back to Laurie on Tech Notice, who was hitting all kinds of barriers. Hopefully that has been resolved by a firmware update when his video goes live. We'll link to it in the description below, or it's on the side of the screen. Same goes when we were talking to Frank over at WonderTech. He was hitting nothing but SMB walls with this system time and again, because it was being rolled out with an unfinished software. And the problem is, we want to believe that this software is going to get better. We want to believe all these extra bells and whistles and features are going to be added. But the problem is, if we deliver a unit that for review and a prototype where we're going to look at that software in this fashion, unfortunately, we're going to say what we see, and that software is not finished. Hopefully, this is a point that we can cross out later on when this product reaches full availability. But right now, that software, although I would argue it is further along than most other NAS beta software that I've seen rolling out the gate from most brands on day dot, not now, day one, I would say right now that that software is simply not finished yet.
Reviewing the situation. Can a fella be a villain all his life?
This next point better get resolved by launch. This system here is rocking out the gate with a Pentium processor, 5-core, decent little architecture, and 4 drives and 2 Gen 4 NVMe's inside. There is absolutely no reason that I should not be able to max out and fully saturate my 10G connection. Nevertheless, when I was bench testing this device with AJ8 and Windows transfers, with the hard drives and the SSDs, I was still not able to fully saturate that 10 GBE. Whether that is some kind of bottleneck that no doubt will become apparent as time wears on between PCIe controllers internally, that will be subject to change, because remember, this is crowdfunding. That does mean that right now this is not giving me 10G when it should give me 10G. And before you be that guy in the comments and say, well, why didn't you max up your jumbo frames? Why didn't you play around with the MTU? I couldn't. The software wouldn't let me go above 1500 MTU. Even though I could play with it on my client side, I couldn't do that on the system side. I could go down, but not up. I couldn't put it up to 9K, which is another example of the software just missing some bits and bobs that I would like to see.
Reviewing the situation. Can a fella be a villain all his life?
Oh man, this is the big one, isn't it? Why crowdfunding, UGREEN? Now, again, I'm going to try to be chill here. I get it. Sometimes brands who are introducing their product into the market that are not aware of the target demographic, maybe they are Eastern audiences that want to learn more about Western audiences and the way that product is engaged with, or they want to take advantage of marketing tools that are rolled in with most crowdfunding websites that have got more targeted kind of focus and pushing of the product towards the relevant audiences. I get it, all of that exists. However, crowdfunding is indie. Crowdfunding is startup. You're UGREEN. You've been knocking around for now 12 to 14 years. You must have some analytics to hand, whether it is in the NAS market or not. Also, launching that many SKUs simultaneously onto crowdfunding is a bold strategy, Cotton. And I'll say right now, it would have been way, way, way better, in my opinion, if UGREEN had rocked out 1 to 2 products, more precisely these 2 products right here, as traditional retail. Then, as a phase 2, rock out the build-up of the other devices, engage the audience that way. By going down crowdfunding, not only have you opened the door in some people's minds that they potentially, because it's crowdfunding, might not get the product, but on top of that, because of that sharp focus onto just 2 regions for availability, you've gone, well done the US, well done Germany, and F you everyone else. And it's definitely going to hack people off. I don't understand why UGREEN have gone for crowdfunding with this product when it's legit. It's physical. I'm holding it. They spent an absolute fortune on this device. It is not a relabeled device. This is clearly completely constructed and built in-house. It is definitely a legit bona fide physical product. This shouldn't be on crowdfunding. And so my final thought. I'll say right now, I do think this is a good product. I do. I just think it's been poorly presented. Hang on, Rob. Weren't you presenting this product? I think the hardware is tippity-toppity. I love it. The CPU choices, the aesthetic, the design, the ports and connectivity, the architecture of the system is challenging what most of these brands could even try to release in terms of hardware and capability of what we see here. And we've got to give UGREEN credit for that. But putting it on crowdfunding, weird. Only providing it to 2 regions, weird. This weird, steadfast position on third-party OS, weird. I get it. In terms of third-party OS, you want to support your software and you want to prioritize that software. And I've got to tip my hat to your commitment to that. Knowing full well you're probably going to hack people off by doing that. But still, nonetheless, I think that rigidity and the lack of maturity in that software and capability that will hopefully change over time, it's just enough that I can't get it out of my mind. Bottom line, this thing launches on crowdfunding, if I've timed it right, now. There's a link in the description. You can find out more and read other people's comments there. And if you are looking for the best hardware for value right now and you happen to live in the US and Germany, this thing's damn hard to beat. But putting it on crowdfunding, or at least engaging with it in crowdfunding, there's always going to be an element of risk. We talked about Storax here on the channel before, and we know there are good stories and there are bad stories. And unfortunately, the association with crowdfunding and that mixed reaction, that mixed potential outcome for good and for bad and the grey in between, it's unavoidable. So I'm kind of finding it very weird that they've gone down that route. And hopefully, if you're interested in this product and what you've heard, and you want a stable product, I wouldn't go the crowdfunding route. I'd wait till this goes full retail, because it definitely will. Yes, you're going to pay more for it, almost certainly. But right now, this product here is a phenomenal hardware choice and a kind of iffy software choice that will hopefully get better over time. And if you're okay with going down crowdfunding, you're going to put it on a credit card with a lovely little chargeback scheme, you haven't got much to lose, frankly. But the rest of you, maybe err on the side of caution. Keep an eye on other reviews. Again, Laurie over at TechNovis. Yes, Frank over at WonderTech, and all the other videos that are no doubt going to be rolling out over the next few weeks. Do check those out to get a more informed decision. But apart from that, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for in the next week or so when we do our full deep dive review on the Flash system here. I hope you enjoyed the long review that we did on the foray. And other than that, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Again, the crowdfunding, it's linked below. You can go to that website. There's some 40% off thing. I'm not getting paid for any of this. I'm going to go take this sodding thing apart and find out what makes it tick. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.